I think it's great to invent a system where you have these opportunities for people to get together. So one thing I think is great is when offices have a common space that can be rearranged, a flexible space where people can get together and then use it for all sorts of multi-purposes. There's lots of events you could have, and I think space to do that is a great help.
This is the Workplace Innovator podcast, where we talk with corporate real estate and facility management leaders about the industry trends, challenges, and technologies impacting your organization. This show is powered by Eptura, the global work tech company providing software solutions for people, workplaces, and assets to enable you to work your world. Hey folks, welcome back to the Workplace Innovator podcast. It's me, your host, Mike P., and I am excited once again to introduce you to a first-time visitor to this program, someone I have known for a little while now, and what a way to start off 2026 with a conversation from a workplace leader on the other side of the world. He is joining us today from Singapore, and he is the Director of Development at a firm called Moser Associates. Everybody, please welcome Charles Corley to the show. Charles, welcome to the Workplace Innovator podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for staying up late for me, for DJ Mike P. It's not easy scheduling a conversation like this when I'm here in Washington, D.C., and you are in Singapore, which is, you've told me, both a city and a country. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. It fools some of the forms when you're filling in things online because it asks for a city and a country, and I have to put Singapore.
Singapore. All right. It's like being in New York, I guess.
Exactly.
In a way,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And you are an American living in Asia. You've been there a long time, though, right? Tell me how you ended up in Singapore, and what's the role at Moser Associates all about?
Well, Moser has been a large chunk of that time, but I've started off in other companies, and they all do the same thing. They were architect-led and basically working on workplace. I actually didn't do that much workplace before I came out to Asia. At that time, I was a normal architect doing extremely high-end individual homes, very bespoke homes for very wealthy people in the Annapolis, Maryland area.
Oh, great.
And working on low-rise commercial and just about every different kind of project you can think of except high-rises. But when I came out here, it was all workplace, because that's how I started off with the first company. And I liked them. I discovered a few things that I didn't understand when I was doing architecture, which is that workplaces as a type of thing to develop and create and then build can be as complex and on occasion more complex than architecture itself. And I didn't grasp that until I was in this type of the business.
Interesting.
I would also say that documenting them, of course, we have more modern ways to do that, which I'd like to get into, but they require just as much technical detail. It's amazing how much, because every corner of a workplace is unique. And what you have in architecture, unless you're doing something quite special, is a lot of repeating elements. But in workplace, it's so unique and bespoke for each client, and every corner of the workplace has challenges and things and ideas. So leadership is very critical too.
Oh, yes.
What a client actually should be looking for is not who has the best solution, because you can get to the best solution later. They should actually be interviewing people and looking for who they want to work with, who's the best leader that they think has their act together and understands things better.
Well, I love that. I can't wait to hear more about your experiences and some of the insights you've gained over the years. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure I mention that we've been connected, as I said, a long time on LinkedIn, and I follow you, and I know you follow. Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate you following my podcasts and commenting along the way. But you've been on a lot of shows recently, and I know that we have some mutual friends in the world of workplace podcasts and webinars. And I see that you were a guest on Jeff Frick's Work 20XX podcast. And I saw you were on Miller Knoll's Insight series, which is our friend Mark Catchlove, right?
Yeah, Mark is a great guy. I have all the time in the world for Mark and Jeff, both of them brilliant people.
And do you have your own show as well? Is that true? I've seen videos.
I do. I'm I interview people sometimes for half an hour, 40 minutes, and we just talk. And, they used to have this thing on LinkedIn where they call you a top voice. You might remember that.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
sure.
so I used to think of myself as the top ear instead of the voice.
Okay.
I would listen I'm a good listener, and I'm a focused listener. So I can follow and listen and understand what they're talking about and interject thoughts and ideas and questions sparingly. And I learn so much, and I hope that other people learn a lot. So it's very much in tune with what you do.
Great. Well, the more voices and the more ears out there, the better. And that's what I need to do more often, Charles, is be listening.
Shut up.
And shut up, right? Shut up and listen more. I have 2 ears and 1 mouth, yet sometimes the ratio is imbalanced is when it comes out wrong. Too much talk. Yeah. Too little listening sometimes, but I'm working on it. And we're going to learn more about some of the things that you've heard and some of the lessons that you've learned and insights gained during all of these interactions in our wonderful workplace community. But before we go there, I always like to learn a little bit more about the personality of my guests, Charles. And we've talked a couple times getting ready for this podcast recording, but I didn't ask you, what type of music do you enjoy and what inspires you? What artist or genre really gets you fired up?
Well, being an older person now in my 60s, a child of that era where they had all the rock heroes and things. I didn't think of them exactly as rock heroes when I was growing up, but we had a narrower band of music to listen to. We know about Motown and R&B and reggae and all that, but we can name all the same artists because we listen to them all the same on the radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
For me, I came out of that era having looked at things from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and then I sort of rediscovered blues music because I was picking up the guitar. And nice. Blues music is one of those things that's nice to learn how to play. You don't have to get into the anthology of who everybody was and what their meaning was, but there's only a few narrow types of chord structures, and then you can build almost any kind of song out of it.
Sure.
And so for somebody learning music, it's a great way in. And a lot of the artists that we listen to, you didn't realize that they were using a blues structure in the background, but that's what they were doing.
That's right. At the end of the day, Charles, it's 3 chords and the truth.
I like that. Yeah, that's true. So in learning guitar myself, I've gotten back to those sort of things and enjoyed it a lot. Eric Clapton to me was the guitar hero, and his playing wasn't as fancy as people imagine it to be. It was just played very aggressively. If you want to understand how powerful he can be playing the blues, I would say go to his original band before he became a solo artist called Derek and the Dominoes.
Oh, yes.
And then listen to a song called Have You Ever Loved a Woman?
Ah, I know that one. Yeah, absolutely. Derek and the Dominoes. And for those that are listening, even the younger generation will know Layla.
Yeah.
Come on, Charles. Here we go.
Yeah.
Layla, got me on my knees, Layla.
It's wonderful. So I could have been happy just playing in a cover band and playing 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s songs. I would have been perfectly happy living that existence.
I appreciate it. Yes, I could be there with you in the audience, jamming along. We're definitely coming from the same era, and that was classic rock to me, but had a huge impact on my childhood and my early adulthood. So continues to this day. Great, great stuff. So, Charles, the name of this podcast, as you know, is Workplace Innovator. Mm-hmm. And I wonder what you think about when it comes to the workplace today and strategy as we head into the future, and what it takes to be an innovator and a leader in the world of workplace in 2026. What comes to mind for you?
Oh, it's definitely a focus on people and thinking about the effect on what you might call the end users of the workplace. And we all understand that and agree it, but with a variety of tools out there to help, including the company you work for, but a lot of companies out there are coming up with innovative solutions at an amazing rate. And so there's more, let's call it data points, where you can understand and measure how things are performing and how people feel about their environment that will really help. I'm also a believer in hybrid work, and I was working hybrid before the name was commonly known. So I have no qualms about that too. But I would say that it's always been about flexibility and the ability to choose when and how you get together with people depending on your type of work. When I hear people talk about these things, they act as if it's one homogeneous workforce, when in fact, some people who do one type of business may have very different needs from people who do another type of business. So lumping them all together doesn't always work.
Sure.
But I was talking to
Sophie Wade?
Sophie Wade. We were having a long conversation,
Yeah.
and Sophie Wade and I came to the same conclusion that the world is moving towards the designer architect style of working, which is more team-based, more a band of close-knit brothers who resolve things and create new things together. And in a pod of people who know each other, understand each other's strengths and weaknesses, and form a close-knit band of people who can work together and work through anything. And because they're working both from a distance and they're working in the office and they're facing the same deadlines and challenges and they're a cohesive team, they understand each other's not deeply personal lives, but ins and outs of what's going on with the other person.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that makes it far better to work with people where you have that simpatico, where you have that camaraderie at a pretty deep level. It's a wonderful thing. So I'd like working with teams when we know each other. And even if we don't see each other outside of work necessarily, we don't have to have the barbecues together and all that, but we have a deep understanding of each other as we're working, and that makes life better. So I think the workplaces as a whole are kind of drifting towards that structure where people are working in teams and helping to solve problems innovatively, and supporting that, if you look at it from that standpoint, affects the layout, the use of the space, and the engineering and every aspect of it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me more about some of the practical applications of that philosophy, Charles. You see it in your work. You talk about it on your podcasts. Yeah. The way we need to think about the workplace, the physical built environment, and the workspaces we provide to these teams to allow them to come together. And I love what you're saying. We all bring something unique to the table. Each of us has a different set of skills and unique perspective. And by blending those, it could cause some friction at times, but it brings this brilliant, innovative outcome, usually, if we can have, great leaders bringing us on this journey together. What does it take to put together a workplace today that is allowing those types of collaborative efforts to take place? And what would you say my audience of facility management and real estate leaders should be focused on?
Well, certainly you have to imbue wellness into everything we do, and a holistic approach. It doesn't help to have it fragmented. And so I think that collecting the data and understanding how people are currently working and what they're doing and why will help. It's okay to collect data as long, in my book, as it's anonymized. I don't think that people should be gathering data about individual people's habits unless it's all anonymized. But then understanding that people have a very divergent way of having their needs, and then expressing how those can be accommodated, even though this person likes silence and this person likes a camaraderie and a buzz, and this person feels hot and cold all the time, or this person is very active and disturbs his neighbors because he's always talking on the phone. There's thousands of different ways that people like to get into the method of working. But when you come to the office, it should be a combination of focus and teamwork. And so having what we have been calling for a great many years, activity-based solutions, really help. I think that no matter where you're seated, whether you're at the sofa seating or you're at the conference room or you're at your desk, you need to have a shared space nearby with the right technology to bring together your remote people, your in-house people, and even other people like clients, contractors, specialists, whatever it is you're working with. So the technology aspect of that has to be well thought through and sort of a seamless way of moving about.
Right.
And so I think that all that has to come together technologically, spatially, which is why, M. Moser does this, where we have most of that in-house and are capable of it. Whether we're called on every corporate office designed to do that or not is another matter, but we have all that on tap and we bring it together. So that's it. Our engineers focus on the solutions that affect people, not just running the numbers to see that the humidity is correct and the temperature is correct and but how does it feel to work in the workplace? Is it healthy? Is it useful? So I think that the data enriched way that we look at it now is really helping a lot. Everything's becoming more intelligent. The building management systems are becoming more intelligent, and it's a whole new world when it comes to understanding the user and then putting that to use to make it a better environment. And there is one thing that can't be replaced, except in my opinion, by humans, which is that I love the idea of having a workplace facilitator who creates events in the office for people to come together so that those remote people have a reason to come in and interact. And it doesn't matter whether it's a talk, yoga, or a special celebration, or any kind of events, or a learning event. I think it's great to invent a system where you have these opportunities for people to get together. So one thing I think is great is when offices have a common space that can be rearranged, a flexible space where people can get together and then use it for all sorts of multi-purposes. Those type of spaces are really invaluable if you actually use them. And I feel like it requires a role, especially in the larger institutions, to have somebody who makes things happen in that sense, because it's a great way to draw people in, not just because you want them to be at the office, but because you want them to form those bonds and interact and have fun together and learn things together. And this is a great transfer of knowledge, right? Across the generations, across the different disciplines. So a lot of that can happen as well. So there's lots of events you could have, and I think in a facilitator to do that is a great help, and a space to do that is a great help.
Wow. I agree with you, Charles. Very well said. So much there we could unpack, but we are running out of time. Charles, I'm looking at the clock. The time is escaping us. It always goes by fast when we're having one of these fun conversations. Before I let you go, any final thoughts or practical advice you might share with my audience as we head into the future of the workplace together?
Well, I teach AI and I facilitate people using AI at a very highly professional level. And so my feeling, because I went back to school for this 4 years ago, and I sort of changed my architecture role to be more of an AI integrator for our leaders. And I just think that you need to embrace it and use it every day and use it more deeply, because it's like a second brain. It can help you to grow, think, challenge yourself, learn. And so just grab whatever, they call them LLMs, large language models. Grab whichever one you like, whether it's Gemini or Anthropic or more commonly OpenAI's, and just use them all the time more deeply and almost treat it like another AI colleague. And just don't underestimate it. You can do so many things that you didn't realize it could do because you limited your thoughts of what it was capable of. So we have this entity now that is not only an expert doctor, an expert lawyer, and an expert engineer, but also an expert psychologist and an expert horticulturalist and an expert songwriter, just an expert everything. So it's got all the knowledge of the world, but it's got this ability to chat with you on human terms. And so explore it more deeply, use it every day, and don't just try to use it as summarize this report, rewrite this email.
Right.
That's like having Einstein sitting right next to you, and the only job you're giving it to him is to summarize the report. So
exactly.
Yeah. So I would say delve deeply into using these tools more deeply, push it, and see how it'll go. I think everybody needs to do that.
I agree. Absolutely. And I've been doing it myself, and we'll continue to do it, and we'll see where things go in another year, 5 years, 10 years. I have a suspicion we'll look back a decade from now and really be blown away with what AI has done to our world and to our workplaces. So thank you for that, Charles. And thank you for taking time to join me here. This has been a lot of fun. It's been interesting. I've really enjoyed our conversation. I hope you have.
So have I.
And I want to thank you for taking time to be with me here on the Workplace Innovator podcast.
Thank you. It's great being here.
And there you have it, everyone. Charles Corley of Moser Associates, bringing his perspective as an architect and AI leader in the world of the workplace today. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. And if you'd like to learn more about the work that Charles does, please check the show notes. You'll find some links to connect with him. And if you found anything of value in this conversation, do me a favor and share this podcast with a colleague or a friend, anyone who might like to join us as we continue on our journey to encourage and inspire you to be a workplace innovator. Peace out. You've been listening to the Workplace Innovator podcast, powered by Aptura, the epicenter of the future of work. For more about how we help organizations to engineer a thriving environment by enhancing their employee experience, workspaces, and asset value, please visit aptura.com.